Alright everyone, I'm trying something new today. I'm streaming this to YouTube Direct. So hopefully everything's looking good. I also don't know where it appears in my YouTube page. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Okay, pop out chat. There we go. Okay, time to keep building. And this will go up as a DVR, so if you're watching this on YouTube, this was a streaming session I did. And I'm going to walk you through something, because a lot has changed since you last saw, so I'm going to try to not show you. We're going to walk this way for a little bit. Oh, and just checked. Mic is working. Probably should have checked that before. Okay, so we're way up here. We've got our starter. Well, I guess it's a starter train. Let's just zoom down here. Couple things. It's fixed miss. I actually would like to turn it off because I don't really care, and I'm not going to build a base for fixed miss right now. That would be super cool if I had a base up and running. I mean, I guess I could build out a section, but whatever. So we've got our starter base here, or our starter train here, that takes us between our new base, which is where we're at right now, and our starter base, which we are right here. Our starter base is on the exact opposite side of the map. And then all of this gets filtered into these storage containers based on whatever I put into the train network over on that side. So one of the things I want to do today is automate what goes into this so the train can just run back and forth and deliver materials for me. And we're over in this part with where the giant waterfalls are, which I love the way it looks over here. And one thing I plan on building is basically home base, where we can move all of this crap up. You can see we're fully unlocked all the way through tier 6 and haven't built the space elevator yet. I probably should, and then just passively build the parts on it. So maybe we'll do that, just so that we can get some of that complete and start moving toward the new stuff, because I really want that hover pack. And then I'm going to show you what's up there and kind of give you the rundown of what to expect from the future of this base. Okay, so we've got quite a bit of these. Yeah, those are expensive. Okay, so I had a build a while ago when we first started building these modular frames, and so I saved up a little bit of them. So let's set up a temporary little solution for each of these, just one at a time. So modular frames is steel frames or modular frames and steel beams. That's an easy one. And then I want 2 of these and some belts. That's easy. Rotors. Thank you. We're going to take all of these, and then we're going to have to go and get some more from the... Yep, because we need some of those as well. Yeah, we need quite a few supplies. Gotta love the space elevator though, right? this. And then I'm literally just going to do doesn't have to be super pretty, but should be a little pretty, right? Yep, and that'll just passively create some for us. Alright, before we go back to home base to pick up some supplies, let's take a look at some things. This tree, all of this is done except for the programmable splitter, which I don't think does anything different than a smart splitter, so I haven't done anything. This is just our fix miss. Occasionally, whenever I feel like picking up some gifts strewn around the world. And then I put this on here, just keep track of how many tickets we've been getting. So I've been building stuff in the background, and there's a lot of tickets happening just kind of in the background. And so, yeah, we're up to 47 tickets, which is kind of insane. But let me show you what's going on here. I'll give you a quick tour of our base as it stands and give you the idea of what I want this to be. So first of all, what we're standing on here, I like to be the roadway where our explorer can drive, our factory carts can drive, a vehicle is controlled by me can drive. Okay? And you can see that I'm going to mock it up as a roadway. Here's a nice little crosswalk. Here's cement, or like our little sidewalk. And I super like this, where it looks like we've got a little bit of a curve here. So yeah, we got our crosswalks, and it goes that way because there will be buildings on that side, and then over here, you know, and so on and so forth. Over here, we've got our first major building. I painted this green to replicate grass. Don't know if I like it. Might change it up and make it a little bit more industrial. But this, as you can see, is our iron ingot production building. Now, that's fucking huge if you ask me. So let's go in and take a look. We'll go down there in a second. So I put up some fun little billboards here. Fix It Cares. Let's fix it. And then, so this is the current stats of the building. Produces 6,280 iron ingots per minute out of 208 smelters. Okay? And so when you come down over here, I think it looks super clean. And I'll explain this here in a second. But each side has 52 smelters per floor. And I made this so that it is expandable up. So if we need to increase this, we can. And so here's another 52 smelters. And so we'll take a look at, which I also left this lobby basically empty, but I love the way this looks. And I'll show you the roof too, because I think the roof looks pretty cool. So each floor also has this catwalk floor up on top, which is super cool. And it's mirrored on that side, so no need to see both sides. Then you come over here. So remember those lines that I showed you that come up? So there's an overflow system here. If all of this is backed up, that line comes up and goes into the next floor, which is up here. And then this, so you'll see it comes up here, and then it gets sorted and placed into here. And then this also we don't have it configured yet, but what we would do is also split this into an overflow. So probably this splitter would be our overflow splitter, or I'd add one right here and then send it back up. But all of these basically, this is the overflow from the bottom floor, feeds up into the next floor, And so let's go take a look at that right now. So on the next floor, this looks familiar. I didn't hang the lights here yet. This was a super late night ad. So I still have to add the lights, but otherwise we're done in this floor. I wanted to get some of this this iron backed up and working a little bit. So that feeds all of these, which is super, super nice. Okay, so let's go up one, and this is just the last layer of the catwalk. Then if you look up here, I love the way that this looks. It's got like a little bit of an overhang up on top there. I think it's a really cool look. It's got slanted glass this way, and then it kind of comes up a little bit, and then it's over. So it's a little bit ventilated. And like I said, over on the side, mirrored again. So another full array. And if we need more, we just build up. And then we would have to tear this roof up a little bit to go up a little bit, but that's okay. There are worse things. I missed the railing there. I've got little balconies on the ends. Just be able to come out and take a look at a view here. Not much to see over here. I mean, the scenery is nice, but as far as like build-wise, similarly over there, but again, not much to see just yet, but there's a lot that's in progress. I'm using beams here to typically transport my power. As you can see, power is usually running underneath them. And then what I'll show you is how I run power in here. So it hooks up and then it jumps on top of this beam. And then on top of this beam, it connects here, there, and then actually I clip through this to connect down into it, which I think still looks super clean, and then is able to feed each of these individually. So pretty awesome and exciting there. I'm going to show you what's down here in a second. I've got a light control here for all of the lights in the in the entire factory. And then I really like this like smelters, like, hey, by the way, this is a smelter factory, so nice little like design there. Okay, so we're going to go down here and you're going to see our sorting floor. And you'll see what I'm talking about where I have the smart splitters. It's this one on each. Is it this one? Oh, this is the output. That's why it looks the way that does. I'll talk about that in a second also. But here's our smart splitter. So overflow goes to the left and that takes it up. Otherwise it feeds all the ones on this floor. So this is basically the take it up above one, and then here's the ones for the first floor there. And so then you see iron ingots coming down, and it's the same thing but in reverse. So iron ingots are coming down, they get brought down into here, and then they get fed here and down, and I'll show you where that goes in a moment when we go take a look at our train network, because you can kind of hear them popping off in the background there. Yeah, let's go this way. So going this way, you can see, like, I'm going to mimic a little bit of a city block here. Put some lights down. These are just tests. I wanted to see brightness and distance, but we'll space these out actually a certain amount. But over here, this looks like a little subway station, which I'm pretty proud of. I feel like this looks really cool. So coming down into this, you've got an immediate junction. We'll go into this one, and we're back over to our sorting floor. Sorry, brain fart there. And then next, we've got another little junction over here, which, oh, that's kind of cool, right? This is going to be our train lines floor. So all trains will run on this floor, and that's right underneath our roadway. And so I'm thinking that we mirror the roadway and the train floor everywhere we go. And so you see trains running into the iron ore station over there that we built a long time ago. And then coming into here, I'll show you this. And so this is the output of one of the trains bringing in iron ore, and then we send that out and then up into sorting up above. I'm going to show you kind of one thing that I built here that I super like, because you'll see this little tunnel right here. Very time consuming, but maybe I'm hoping that it's just because there was a lot of trial and error. When you come down here, I'll put little billboards and stuff over here as well. But for now, it's our little subway tunnel, which, if you take a look, leads us right into a couple of subway stations. And these trains are sitting here, I believe. Oh, okay, so they are actually running. That's great. This is where iron ore comes in, as you can see there. Iron ore 1, because I suspect we might have others that are like that. Built a bunch of block signals and stuff as well. And then here we've got iron ingots going out. And again, so like, you know, say what you will, these clip through the walls and stuff when they pick up canisters and deliver, but I don't care. I think this looks frickin' awesome with the way it operates. Let's see if this train's about to leave. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't have a place yet because I don't have a place I'm delivering iron ingots to. Okay, so I'll show you one thing over here before we head over to our starter base. So the trains go through those double doors. Again, I think looks really super cool. And so this is how we get the iron ingots into that train station you just saw. So they all come down there, and then they all get fed into here. Now, the nice thing is, because there's 2 inputs in every single freight container, I figured if there's 26 smelters for a line of producing of 780 iron ingots, then I might as well just split it into 2 lines and then get them in there. And hence why this is actually going to be this is a little bit upgradable, but it's not fully upgradable to the point where there won't be a backup. Like, I fully envision there will be times where there will be trains backed up waiting to deliver materials and over delivering materials, and that's where we would have to build additional floors and figure that out. But as it stands right now, I think we're in a pretty good spot there. If anything, potentially building back-to-back trains, because I think I have the capacity to build another 4-car train behind. So anyway, let's take a little train ride back to our starter factory, and we will talk about what's next in this video, or in this playthrough, in today's playthrough. I'm trying to do a live stream because I really just want to play this game kind of a lot today. So expect this one to be relatively long. And I'm debating, see, like in between between those 2 floors, I think I'm going to close that off once I build the next building alongside. Today's building, I think, might be our sorting and main hub, because I don't want to keep making this trip back and forth to the starter factory. What I want to build is a destination for our materials to all be sunk or sorted, like we have with that mini setup over there, but with basically any material that we would potentially be producing. And then, excuse me, and then getting this train line connected back to the starter base and start feeding those materials over at a pretty steady rate, so that we have it captured at our main base and don't ever have to worry about coming back this way manually again. I think we would maybe make some adjustments, like removing the the sinks and potentially adding the sinks to our overflow for storage on this side, limiting the amount of waste. Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. Plus, that's something we're going to need on this side anyway, as we'll have trains delivering materials for us all the time, as long as we... Yeah. It's a lot to, like, I need to think about a lot of how we want to logistically manage the excess. But at the same time, for now, excess isn't as big a problem. So we're going to need a few things. We're going to take as many modular frames as we can get. We're going to take as many steel beams, and I want to take as many Mark IV the encased industrial beams as I can get back with me. We'll just load them up onto the train and get the ball rolling there. I'm very tempted to, and I might even do this here in a second, of restart, like save the game, restart it, and then get like the expanded personal storage, just so that we can carry more things between runs and there's less back and forth. That's my thoughts, at least. So we're almost at our home base, at our starter one, and I do need to... Oh, that's the train we're on. I'm like, are we gonna run into a train? I do need to get materials into this station, and that's going to be a little bit of a challenge, because I think I want this to be a little bit closer to the top than where we are right now. We'll wait for it to say docking, and then we'll turn off self-driving. There we go. So now when we start it back up, we should be able to load up this train. I probably should have come here a little bit more empty-handed than I am, but let's dump some things that we're going to just let it all get sorted out. So like, that's a precarious little platform. The amount of times I've almost fallen down or fallen down is a lot. So this little starter factory has been honestly just killing it for us. Producing more or less anything I need at this moment. The problems are when we deal with like trains and getting computers and things like that, because I don't really have those being produced automatically. I had temporary builds set up for those. So we might have to... actually, I'm going to dismantle those builds right now. And then what I might do is... Oh, look at those encased industrial beams very slowly flowing in. That's curious. Yeah, so this is just going to be... like, there's going to be a whole bunch of circuit boards right there. So yeah, we'll just dismantle this to... just throw it in the awesome sink for now. Not all of this stuff, but like that crap. I don't mind the keeping the cable. Cable sometimes could be useful. And how much are we looking? Oh, there's nothing in there? Okay, 250 crystal oscillators, that's good. Okay, some high-speed connectors, that's good. So we don't have any legitimate manufacturers up and running for producing anything. So as you can tell, we are a little bit behind on on those aspects, but whatever. We will get there. There's no rush in Satisfactory. Let's get rid of like a few stacks of cable. And there's some encased industrial beams there. Holy cow, we got cable for days. Okay, so we're just gonna keep layering on top. Let's get that awesome sink. Putting even more crap in there. I think the stuff that is going in there is like into our awesome sinks on that side is still like quartz, silica. I believe those are being sunk perpetually via overflow, but I can't remember. Yeah, I definitely want those encased industrial beams. So we're going to load this stuff up on a train, let it get sorted into our storage. Holy cow, we need another one? This would be a fun thing when we eventually delete it, because this would be a nice little walk of shame piece. I don't even care about that present. I don't want an extra inventory slot taken up just by picking that up. Okay. These, let's load up into a train. Like, but I still need a whole bunch of steel beams, and I need to build one of those up at home base. So my plan is to basically move everything via trains between buildings. So one building produces iron ingots, then that gets those produced iron ingots get loaded onto a train and brought over to either, I'm thinking, iron plates, iron rods, and I think that's going to be one of the next buildings we build. That builds iron plates, iron rods, and screws. So those pieces, and then after that, if it still has additional left over, I'm thinking we move it over to the steel production, because we are going to build it in such a way that it's going to be iron ingots and coal to build steel instead of iron ore and coal. It's a more efficient recipe if you've pre-done it with iron ingots. So that may cause us to have to raise the iron ingot production facility up a floor or two, but we'll get there when we get to steel. I built the layout of that base kind of a specific way, where it's wider. Well, it's pretty wide, as you saw, and that is because I basically took a number of different building sizes to see how many I could fit in there, like side by side by side, and then the plan is, you know, we build up if we have to build up. So that's kind of how I'm logistically trying to process that. So is that more cable? Holy hell, we got cable for absolute days. I think I have the autosave set to 15 minutes now. So we'll take that cable with us. I want steel beams as primary. That's like my main thing I wanted to come over here for. Steel beams, and then the rest, we'll take some modular frames. we've got a decent amount of encased industrial beams. But see, like, how the inventory is so limited? I'd like us to be able to hold, like, but when you have the enhanced one, it's like 3 or 4 times your normal amount to be able to carry. Which means you don't really have to run out, or you don't really run out of any materials or any space. Well, you do, but, you know, less frequently. Having this many beams, I can build basically whatever the hell I want. I really don't need this quick wire, but I don't think we have much on the other side, so. I think these are both full. Yep. Okay, that's what we're gonna have to do. Yep, of course. Like, I literally told it to go back to the starter base. So, it just started going. It should have picked it up, because we were docked. Okay. So it should be starter base. Thank you. The next station is going to be new base. Okay. So give us all those materials. And the way we have it set up back home is that those just get completely unloaded into our our sorting setup. But it's not perfect that it's not directly overflowing everything that we need it to be all the time. So sometimes things get backed up. And there's no sink at the end that basically says anything that would overflow just gets tossed into a sink. Problem is, I'm gonna be pretty careful there. I don't want like power shards or any of that stuff, and that's why we have to be very meticulous when we actually build it, our storage room. I like really wanted a solution. It'd be so freaking cool if we could do some automation. Like, I envision a storage room where there's basically just one storage container, and then, or like 3 storage containers or whatever, and then you basically say, I'm looking for iron plates, and then some logic opens up the path for iron plates to flow through, and then they flow into your storage container, and then you pick them up and you're good to go. Or you flip a switch and then you say, I want iron rods now, and so iron plates stop flowing and iron rods start flowing. The way I envision that would work is you'd have like 1 or 2 materials consistently rotating on a belt, and I bet you that's what the programmable splitter is designed for, where you should be able to control that remotely, because otherwise what's the point? What's the difference between a smart splitter and a programmable splitter, right? So I suspect there will be some like maybe automation wire that gets introduced, similar to oxygen not included, where there's automation within that as well. We're on our way back. I'm more than likely going to redo the power plant. I'm thinking potentially with turbo fuel. And when we do, we're going to raise it up to the appropriate factory height, which is 1 level above this, with the assumption that it is in line with the rest of our factories. So that basically it's just another building. It'll be our power plant in the middle of this. And I'm thinking, instead of it being tucked away in that corner right there, I'm thinking it takes up this kind of area right here, just on the other side of the train lines. And think of it raised above, so we definitely need to do a pump situation to get the oil up into the refineries to then get it, you know, spread out into all of these fuel extractors, or fuel generators, I mean. And yeah, that's a big one. That's a big boy, but look how big our iron ingot factory is. And that's like, we're going to mirror that for concrete, we're going to mirror that for copper, and then we'll mirror that for deuterium, and we'll mirror that for quartz. So those are going to be some big boy factories before we even get into, you know, iron plates, iron rods, screws, copper sheets, wire, cable. Those I'd lump in together. So like I'm thinking like a cable, copper sheet, and wire situation being all one building. So turn off self-driving. We're going to start getting some of these materials in here. We'll see them flow in just a moment. This takes so long. I wish. Okay, first of all, since they lifted that container, this train should just be able to keep moving if it was still set on auto drive. Because like, why do we have to wait for that to level set there? And same thing, these materials, like the moment it get drops in, it should be able to move, but whatever. I'm sure that this is stagnant now because we don't have any iron or steel beams. So let's get some in there, but I'm going to take a few. Take a few more out. Nothing just eats steel beams. And then let's add those modular frames in there. I don't necessarily need that stuff right now. And yeah, we'll add those. You can see I've had some Fixmas stuff coming into this, but you know. We'll dump that in, dump that. Those can go. Steel pipes are for sure a little bit backed up on our belt, but yeah, we're okay. So there's no one watching live on the stream yet that I can tell, but what I will do is I'm going to take a quick break, but I'm going to stop the video here. So for those watching in YouTube, this will just be its own video, and then I'm going to restart the stream here in a second. So I think I'm going to install mods, and then I'm going to